Well, g'day, folks. How we going? It's Sean here from the Down Under Cruises, and okay, all right, okay. Thank you. Yes. Okay. Well, g'day, folks. How we going? Welcome aboard. Nice to have you here. Well, it is Hump Day, and just thought I would bring up a couple of things that would be worthwhile talking about. For starters, behind us is a place called Station Pier, and that's where the Melbourne cruise terminal is. And Ilana and I both did some video or photos earlier on, and that's where we took the photos from. So anyway, let me say g'day to some people in the chat. First of all, Michael Ann, welcome aboard, Michael Ann. Nice to have you here. Yes, number one, as expected. Yes, welcome aboard. Meg, listening while trying to get back to sleep. Am I the sort of person that would put you to sleep? I mean, seriously, does this voice get monotonous and put you to sleep? Well, thank you for the applause. I think I'm correct. There's nowhere known I will have you going back to sleep again. I mean, seriously. Okay, so now, question that is behind my head there is, where will your next ship sail from, and which ship and itinerary are you on? So I know that there's a couple of you out there that I've got cruises coming up fairly shortly, and so I just wanted to touch base and see whether or not you knew when you were actually sailing out. For example, we have a cruise coming up on the 28th of March next year, going from Melbourne, from here, to Sydney via a place called Eden. And it's on a princess ship called the Grand Princess, which will be awesome. I also know that at Tampa Bay on the 12th of March, going out of Tampa, going to the West Caribbean, I believe, taking in places like Belize, Cozumel, Roatan, I believe, and one other. Meg can help me out there. Cayman Island, that's right, Belize and Roatan. That going out of Tampa, and so that's going to be an amazing ship. And I'll tell you why it's an amazing ship, because it is being run by Fintastic Cruising, and on that ship they are taking James Catanese and his wife Cindy. Now, I had a chance to have a chat with James today. James is really switched on there. He's saving away a couple of pennies for that cruise, and he's so much so that he won't get his heater fixed for a little while because he wants to save some money up there. So, oh well, it is what it is. We've got Tony G 1975. Welcome aboard, Tony. How you going, buddy? Nice to have you here. Way too up way too late here on the West Coast. Way too late. Now that's exciting. Why would it be way too late? You could. I would be assuming that you're really early. I mean, for us, it is 20:04, which is 4 minutes past 8 in the evening. So I'm assuming it's like, unless you are extreme west, in which case, it's 1 o'clock. Okay, 1 a.m. That is late. Well, you can hang around for a little bit longer. I don't mind. These dulcet tones will put you to sleep, as it has done for Meg. Meg is saying that she's so excited for James and for her to meet him. Well, you know what? That guy needs a dirty big fat hug. He's an amazing guy. I've just got a lot of time for him. So, yes, it's awesome. Meg is saying g'day to Michael Ann. That's cool. And Tony is agreeing that it is 1 a.m. in the a.m. Michael Ann is saying that it is 4:05 where she is. And well, Tony, you're asking a really good question. Meg Meg is another one who never sleeps. So seriously, Meg is, yeah. I mean, Meg learned everything she could from Kenny. And one of those things was how not to sleep. Funnily enough, though, Kenny did actually get some sleep on the cruise. We couldn't find him anywhere taste testing at 1:30 a.m. But then we did go and have a look. Meg is saying, yeah, he's going to get lots of hugs if he is a hugging person, of course. Well, I don't think he's going to have any choice. You just go up there and do the good old hug around, and he'll just subside and collapse and do whatever he does. Okay, I'm getting told off. Hey, I do sleep, I just can't get back to sleep. Yeah, I know the feeling. I know the feeling. But that's where my dulcet tones come on in, you know. These dulcet tones. Hey, I was just watching a bit of Tony's Lolita Loca from Lolita Loca doing a thing on the celebration. Any news from any of the other YouTube channels of people who've gone on the or currently on the celebration? I know Blaine and Mallory, and I'm not sure who else. But it looks like it's going to be an amazing ship, especially with all the way all the people are getting stuck in. So we have it on good authority that coming out of this port in 2024, we will have the Resilient Lady, the Resilient Lady, which will be the latest Virgin Cruises cruise ship, and they will be home porting here in Melbourne, right behind where you see that building there, that station pier. They will be using that as their home port, so that'll be amazing. Too big for Meg. Meg was playing Pokemon. Yeah, no wonder she's still up. Seriously. All right. So, anybody else cruising, and where are you cruising from? Besides Meg, I know where Meg's going. We've been looking at some itineraries, and a couple have dropped right now for January of 2025. That's about 700 days away. That we're looking at for the Australian Down Under Cruises group cruise. So that's going to be quite amazing. Meg is saying that she's excited that we're getting a Virgin ship, and more so, she's saying that the Celebrity is too big a ship for her. Tony is saying that JJ Cruise and Cruise with Ben and David did the transatlantic. Well, that would have been nice. They had a blast. Nautical Nurse Nancy did a live tonight from the ship, and she's having fun. So that's cool. I wouldn't mind meeting up with any of those boys, JJ Cruise and or Ben and David. Ben and David would be an interesting couple to meet up with. I was hoping Nurse Nancy would catch up with us when we were in Florida, but obviously she didn't. She missed out on a great opportunity there. Anyway, as we're saying, currently the ship behind that's in that picture there is the Coral Princess. So that's currently in Australia doing tours around. We've also got all the three P&O Australia ships. So that is the Dawn Princess, not Princess, the Pacific Dawn, the Pacific Adventurer, and the Pacific something or other. Can't remember what the third one is. But they are here as well. Meg is saying that she saw a live from Warm Strong Adventures on the embarkation. Well, that had been nice. So the three P&O Australia ships are touring around. So they've got, I think, the Pacific Dawn has got Brisbane as its home port, and the other two have Sydney as their home port. So that'll be awesome. Meg is saying that she hopes to maybe possibly convince her boss for the Australian cruise, but she would likely be solo if she wasn't able to. Well, that's easy. Just tell your boss to come along. Is Quantum of the Seas on the way to Australia? I believe so. I believe they are here already. Because we had some friends sail on her from Hawaii down to Sydney, in a repositioning cruise there. So they were on her, I believe. Um, and I know that there's another one coming as well. And I believe that we should. I'm not sure whether it's this year or 2025. We will have the celebrity edge here as well. So that'll be amazing. Now, by the way, anybody who's sailing out of an Australian port, the rules are mask up and make sure your tests are okay. Um, Meg is saying, I don't want to cruise with her boss, though he's a good guy. Well, that depends on which boss you're referring to. And we could always put him, I mean, if he's a nice guy, we could always put him in another cabin that's of equal footing. Otherwise, if he was a boss you didn't like, we could always have him in the engine room. You know what pull I've got, Meg. Yeah, well, pretty much none. But anyway, that's the way things are progressing. Okay, so at the end of the day, folks, we're going to be having a bucket load of good people coming with us on our group cruise, and we've got a lot of good ships sailing around now. So currently, let me just do some checking here quickly. I will tell you as soon as. Um, I'm just keying in a couple of things here. I'm going to trusty my trusty computer here, and just seeing what cruise ships are around as we speak. So Stream Elements are saying, welcome to Humpday with the Down Under Cruisers. Please support our channel so that we can support Helping Hands for Cruising. Well, actually, Helping Hands for Cruising is doing some amazing things right now. We just had Kenny on board our ship, and even though we had some cruises, we had Kenny on board our ship. Because of Helping Hands, a couple of people have gotten together and put together some help for young Kenny and his pa, so that they can make their place livable. So what we're doing is there is a cruiseathon to raise some funds for Kenny and pa, so that they can enjoy whatever benefits we can out of cleaning their place up, and certainly making life easy for them. So that was it. Okay, Tony is saying he knows coming to USA is expensive, but some of us are doing a group cruise on Celebration on the 22nd of October 2023. That's going to be awesome. Well, we would certainly like to, if we can. Excuse me, 2023. October is actually not a good month for us. We did it because we wanted to spend time with Kenny, but it's actually not a good month for us. So we're looking further on in the year. But at any rate, we are doing whatever we can to give Kenny some good time. So now there's Cunard ships sailing out of Sydney, from Fremantle, which is in Western Australia. And the Cunard ship that is doing that is the Queen Elizabeth. We've got the Celebrity Eclipse doing the South Pacific out of Sydney, and that's going to Fiji as well as Vanuatu, New Caledonia, and a couple of other ports around there. Queen Elizabeth is also going out of Melbourne and going back into Melbourne, I believe, and going to Tasmania. We've got the Carnival, the Carnival Luminosa doing a Boxing Day cruise on the 26th of December. That's a 3-nighter. Just get a feel for the Luminosa. Go out of Brisbane, and do the roundabout. That's what they're doing. We've got Holland America's Noordam doing Sydney to New Zealand and back, and that is an awesome cruise because they circumnavigate New Zealand and come back in. We've got the Queen Elizabeth doing a Melbourne to Sydney in early January. We've got the P&O's Pacific Adventure. That's doing a Sydney to Melbourne for the Tennis Open. And what happens is it comes into Melbourne, it docks there for a couple of days, and then allows people to go in and see the Australian Open. Meg saying she wishes she was able to cruise in fourth quarter. She would have done the helping hands for cruising, that's for sure. You never know. You might negotiate something with your boss. We've got on the 4th of February, there is the Ovation of the Seas going out of Sydney and doing the South Pacific as well. I think they're doing Fiji, Port Vila, Mystery Island, and Namia. On the 26th of February, going out of Sydney and going to New Caledonia is the Carnival Splendor. So that'll be an awesome cruise. It's a 8-night and starting from 677 Aussie dollars per person, which is quite reasonable. The Majestic Princess is sailing out of Sydney to Fremantle. Wow, it's doing a circumnavigation, but it's going over the top. So it's going from Sydney round to Brisbane and then up over the top via passing Cairns and Townsville. No, Townsville's inland. Cairns and then Broome and then down to Fremantle. That's a 15-night cruise, and that is on the 7th of March in the Majestic Princess. It's $2,500 for a 15-nighter, so that's not a bad cruise if you think about it. So there's a bucket load of things coming in and out of Australia. Right now we've got the Majestic, we've got the Grand, we've got the Coral Princess. Those are the ones that are listed right at this minute in front of me. Total of 11 cruises. And there's only going to be more coming in and so forth. So there's going to be some good cruises on there. But as I said beforehand, your requirement right now is to have face masks on. That's part of the protocols, not because of the ship. That is the protocol set upon by the Australian government, and the ships are following suit. And in actual fact, the masks are being demanded by the Carnival ships. So Carnival, Holland America, Princess, P&O Australia, all of the Carnival group are right now insisting that masks be worn all the time. More importantly, though, the Australian government is requesting testing being done. So we're hoping that that gets sorted fairly quickly because I'll tell you now, we're sick and tired of it. And we think it's really unfair. Ships have been, and if there are any news reporters from Australia listening in, please take my word for it. You guys are not helping the cause at all. we have the circumstance where somebody can go in a tin can, fly on that tin can, land in Australia anywhere, anytime, and pass the lovely virus around any which way they like. So, yeah. Meg, you make a very valid point. Testing is a pain and doesn't really work. So let me give you guys a bit of a heads up. My family, my nephew got married, would have been just over a week ago, and what happened was at that wedding, probably about 60% of the family, they all went up to a place called Noosa, which is just above the Gold Coast in Australia. A place called Noosa. Look it up on the map. They went up to Noosa, and 60% of the family who were at the wedding contracted COVID, including my mum. They are out of it, and they came home today. They got on an aircraft. They'd had COVID for 5 days. They got on an aircraft. They're home. Everybody's fine. Let me say that COVID is out there in the general community. I don't know why ships are so special. But anyway, Tony is saying, Paul and Carol love to travel and are doing an Asia cruise to Australia, then around Australia cruise. They end in Melbourne. Would be great for you to meet. Just a suggestion. Mask up. Mate, I would dearly love to meet Paul and Carol if they are willing to meet with me. So, you know what I'm going to ask, Tony? Drop them a line. I will get onto them as well and drop them a note and see if we can't get together and meet up. Can you imagine all of us? This stuff, that would be awesome. So looking forward to it. Well, g'day, Lorraine. Welcome aboard. Nice to have you here. And we've got Boomer. G'day, Boomer. How are you? How's Lance? Sent. Oh, thanks, Meg. Whoever you sent it to, that'd be awesome. Tony is saying to Meg, I test before any travel, would not travel if positive, just consider other people. Mate, you know what? It's one thing to consider other people, but it's another thing when you get discriminated against because you're on a ship. And I will use the word discrimination because it is ship discrimination. You know what, Boomer? Just go and lick him on the face. That'll wake him up and stop him from snoring. G'day, Troy. Mate, what are you doing up at 4 a.m.? 4:30. So, enough of my ranting and raving because I have to wear a mask. But that's because I'm cruising. The good news is this coming Saturday, your Friday night, for those across the pond, this coming Friday night for you guys, we will be doing a special money raiser for Kenny. But next week, we will be having an interesting chat because there are 2 people coming on our March cruise. That will be the one on the 28th of March going through till from Melbourne to Sydney. And the 2 people that are coming on board will be Mum and Dad, and it'll be their first cruise. So I know they've got a bucket load of questions to ask, so we'll be happy to answer them. Okay, Boomer, you're right. You did lick him and yuck. Is it the sweat or is it the hair gets in your mouth? Which is it? Okay, so a couple of people are saying g'day to each other, which is awesome. Yes, so like we said, Meg, here's the info I can pass on to you, Meg and Troy and Paul, if he's listening in, and anybody else who happens to go onto the Fantastic Group Cruise. Let me tell you this. Your lives will be changed because you have taken James on board that ship. And I can tell you, it's an awesome experience. An awesome experience. Anyway, we uh, we move on now. Boomer is saying that his long is gross. His long hair is gross. Yeah, I know. I know. It just gets in your mouth and between your teeth, and next you look and you think you've got a something to actually, what's that stuff that you use between your teeth? Um, um, oh my goodness me, I can see it. It's a piece of string, and yeah. Anyway, somebody will come up with the answers shortly. But all I can say is yes, Boomer, it is yuck. We maybe we should get Lance to have his hair cut a bit. Floss, thank you, Meg. Thank you, Meg. I was having a senior moment, to be honest. There we go. You're hanging again. Why are you doing that? There we go. Yes, it was a bit of floss. I can see. Um, Lance, you know what? I think it would be awesome if you can, Boomer, if you can get Lance to cut his hair like this, that would be awesome. You know what? You just really see all the brains working inside. Michael Lane is saying it's quite the experience. Yes, it is. I mean, the things that we did with Kenny, and here's the thing, I don't know if you guys watched the last video that was put out on Helping Hands by Donovan, but the truth is, Kenny always had a smile on his face, number one. Number two, not only did he have a smile on his face, but if you had a look, he was learning and couldn't believe what he was seeing. The fact that the ocean was so big and the ship was sailing over all these animals underneath, and the beach. Actually, he got onto the beach. That was awesome, and he saw Ilana having a swim. That was amazing. We tried to get him to have a swim, but no, he wouldn't. He's that sort of person. He's young Kenny. Um, um, okay, so Stream Elements are saying that you can tip using the link in the Stream Elements there /tip. The reason why we're suggesting that you use that is so that any funds that we make out of donations go straight back into Helping Hands, and we can get some more people like Kenny and James onto a cruise ship having a lot of fun, and certainly changing their lives too. Lance is saying, do they let Great Danes like me run around the ship? If you have, Boomer, if you have a collar on that says you're a service dog, you're allowed on board ship. When we were on board the Carnival Horizon with Deb Wright, she has a dog for seeing because she's vision impaired. Recently, I think us and more were on Ovation, the Allure of the Seas or Ovation of the Seas, one of those, and they had their service dogs on board ship as well. So there we go. Meg gave the helping. Thank you, Meg, for putting out the Helping Hands for Cruising YouTube channel. And folks, you should see it. There's some very good stuff on there currently. And let me see. Awesome. And Meg also did, did the Helping Hands for Cruising one. And dogs.al. I don't understand what that means, Meg. Troy says yes, but you must be shipbroken and clean up after yourself. Correct. Meg says wolf dogs make everything better. Yes, whatever oof means. Tony's saying must have been an amazing experience for Kenny. Did he have fun and get to do much on the ship? Mate, he was all over the ship. We had him. We had him in the chef's table. We had him. He was running backwards and forwards. Um, we even had to wheel him all over the place. So, so it was awesome. He had a lot of fun, and man, we even had him dancing in a wheelchair. That was incredible on the 80s night. That was. Did he miss Rose? He didn't have a chance to miss Rose. He was doing other things. I'm not going down that path. Boomer, you go back to bed. You just woke up hoping Lance would let you out. Did he? Or did you pee all over his bed? Um, Meg is saying that she's basically asleep now. Talk to us all in the morning, Australian time. Much love. Thank you very much, Meg, for popping in. Really appreciate it. And you get some good sleep. Hmm? Okay, Michael Ann is saying goodnight to Meg. Troy saying goodnight to Boomer. Sleep well. Um, Michael Ann is saying that Rose is history. And Troy saying goodnight to Meg. All right, so yes, Rose is history. You can't even spell Rose, and Kenny gets all upset because he's having a ball. He had a good time on the ship, and I believe he had just as good a time at Disney. So exciting stuff. But he came back to a lot of changes with Pa in hospital, and is on the mend slowly. But you know what? He's getting there. Um, Stream Elements, excuse me. Stream Elements is giving us the Helping Hands for Cruising Facebook page, and is asking for donations so that we can get some more people on board. And there's the PayPal link. Okay, I'm going to give this a go, see if this works. Time for a video on a cruise that's going out of. All right, that was the cruise put forward by Fantastic Studios, and I want to thank them for giving us permission to utilize their video, so that we can tell everybody where they headed in March of 2023 if they're going on the Helping Hands for Cruising group cruise put on by Fantastic Cruising. It's going to be fun. There's going to be a lot of good things happening. Good night, Boomer. Sleep well. Don't snore too loudly. Anyway, so we've got, as I said before, we've got a load of ships going around now. Let's see if I can find what's going out of Melbourne in the next couple of weeks or months, because we've only just started opening up to cruise ships. So Melbourne. Whoops. I should learn to spell properly. Yes, so let's have a look. See. opening up the Melbourne cruise schedule, cruise port schedule. So we'll have a look, see. Paradj is going on that group cruise as well, I believe. And Lorraine is saying, I, for one, didn't get enough time to get to know certain people better. Everything seemed so busy. Yeah, it was. It was. Yes, Troy, Grand Cayman, Mahogany Bay, Belize, and Cozumel is certainly going to be an awesome trip. I know. I'm going to be jealous. Absolutely jealous. Okay. Yep. All right. Now, so we've got the Coral Princess that came in. Oh, no, that's too late now. That's way past. All right, let's see what's happening here. So we're into November 23. November 23. So the next ship that comes in is the Pacific Explorer. That's due in on Monday the 28th, and it'll leave at 4 p.m. Then the Grand Princess comes in on the 1st of December, and it'll home port back here, and it'll leave. So it'll come in at 7 a.m. and leave at 1700, 5 p.m. And then the Pacific Explorer comes back in on the 2nd of December and leaves again at 1600. Then we've got the Seabourn Odyssey coming in on the 2nd as well. And that's coming in on the other side of the overseas at Station Pier. So that's going to be really exciting. Westerdam comes in on the Saturday on the western side, coming in at 8 a.m. and leaving at 1600. And then the Star Breeze is going in the on the eastern side, coming in on the 4th at 7 a.m. and leaving at 1600. So we've got quite a few ships coming in around the December time. It's going to be an absolute fun. So yes. Tony is saying, if Australia is the busiest country for cruising per capita, why don't you get nicer and newer ships? Doesn't make sense. Mate, that is exactly the question we've been asking ourselves. We always seem to get the leftovers or the stuff that's just about to be kicked out. I mean, we had the Sun Princess here. That went. Okay, it's being refurbished. The new ship is coming out. A bigger one, so it's brought a new one. The Golden Princess, well, that's gone, but it's gone to P&O Australia. So the Golden Princess has actually changed its name to the Pacific Adventurer and is actually still in Australian waters. So that'll be awesome. But that's doing Sydney, and so they've got two of the big ones that were ex Princess. One was the Golden and the Island Princess, I believe, and both those ships looked exactly the same. They've got the trolley handles or the handles at the back, and those two ships have been sold off to P&O Australia, and they're competing for some good business here as well. In fact, those two ships are the biggest ships that P&O Australia has. But up until then, they've had the Pacific Dawn or the Pacific Explorer. Now, the Pacific Dawn has been retired, apparently. And so they've got now the Pacific Explorer in its place. Yeah. The Pacific Dawn was originally the Dawn Princess as well. So that's gone as well. Queen Elizabeth, we're expecting in Melbourne on the 10th of December. Excuse me. And we've got the Viking Orion coming in on the 11th, and then the Westerdam on the 3rd, and then the Noordam on the 11th. So 2 Holland America ships coming in. So that'll be nice. And apparently Queen Elizabeth is home porting in Melbourne. So that's nice. We've got the Norwegian Spirit coming in on Christmas Day and leaving Christmas Day. And then Viking Mars leaving on the 30th of December. Seven Seas Explorer is going out on the 31st. Excuse me. We got the Aida Amar um, on the 3rd of January going out of Melbourne. Azamara Quest is going out on the 4th of January. Celebrity Eclipse is on the 4th of January as well. So we've got a few nice new ships coming in. Well, not new. Few bigger ships coming in. Actually, Silver Muse, plus a couple of others. Pacific Explorer, I've said them already. Looking for the Adventurer and one other. But at any rate, those are all the ships that are coming in. You're getting Virgin and Celebrity Apex, so that's good. You need an Oasis class and an NCL Breakaway and a Carnival XL class to show investment in Australia. But hey, pigs might fly. You know what? I'd agree with that statement. Pigs might fly, especially if we throw them overboard. No. Yeah, you're right. In fact, most Australians will tend to go overseas to cruise. For example, they'll go and do the Caribbean or they'll go and do the Med, because we just don't get the right type of ships coming here. Lorraine, I would love to go on the Queen Mary too, but it would take a boatload of money. Well, it took us boatloads of money to get to you. But what can I say? Wouldn't mind doing a repositioning cruise at some point, whether it be Australia to Hawaii or vice versa, or even doing the transatlantic, or hey, even a Vancouver to Melbourne. Who knows? You know, oh, Vancouver's on the ocean. But anyway, yeah, who knows? At one point, we may be lucky enough to win a lottery of some sort and be able to do a world cruise. You never know. But then again, Dewey might actually employ us to, I don't know, fold his suitcase. I don't know, whatever. 274 days around the world. Amazing. Yes, well, what can we say? It is what it is. But we're getting ships coming in right now. The cruising community in Australia is starting to pick up. A friend of ours, Arthur's from Arthur's Cruises, who lives in Adelaide, he's about to board a ship in Adelaide fairly soon. That'll come over. I think it's a week or two before we actually go on ours. So he's going to go from Adelaide through to Sydney, I believe, and it's going to stop in at Melbourne. So we might actually get to catch up and say good day. You never know. There's a bucket load of things happening, and we may get more ships in. So, well, we will get more ships in. We just may be lucky enough to lose some of the restrictions and so forth. Other than that, folks, don't have a lot to say right now. Tony says he would love to do a Trans-Pacific cruise. It's not the cost that they are, as they are a bargain. It's more the time off work. Maybe Luminosa next year. Yeah, well, that'll be an awesome one. The good news about doing a Trans-Pacific is that you end up going to places like Tahiti and Fiji and New Caledonia and all of those on your way. I think when we were on the Sun Princess, we pulled in to Suva, and following us came the Dawn Princess, Pacific Princess, Pacific. Yeah, I think it was a Pacific Princess, and it pulled in, and it was doing the round the world trip, and a lot of people there stopped off and came in behind us. They left a little bit earlier than us, but they were doing the round the world trip, so that would be exciting. Kenny rated their barbecue 10 out of 10. The barbecue on the ship, the Pig and Anchor, he rated that 10 out of 10. Troy, let me ask you a question. Can you count on one hand the number of things Kenny has not rated 10 out of 10? I mean, seriously, on a scale of 1 to 10, how right am I? 1 being definitely not right, and 10 being 100% correct. Yeah, I know, Tony. Kenny does know barbecue. Well, look, let me put it to you this way. Kenny knows food. Because everything's a 10 out of 10. But seriously, Troy, on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being forget about it, and 10 being absolutely correct, what would you rate my comment? Gelato? Kenny did not like the gelato? Really? What did he rate it? Hopefully it was, well, we didn't mind the gelato. We had a taste of, I think it was a strawberry one or a raspberry one. And that didn't taste too bad at all. Michael Ann says it wasn't a 10. Oh, okay. So what was it? Carnival Barbecue is a 2 out of 10. Tony, mate, we kind of agree that a lot of the food in the MDR on the horizon was definitely lacking. I can quite honestly say we had 2 awesome meals. The first one was the steakhouse restaurant on the first night. The steak was awesome. It was brilliant. The second awesome meal was the chef's table, and that was brilliant. That was really worth the 10. Let's see. Michael Ann is saying that she'd give the pork butt a 10. The chicken and potato salad was maybe a 5. There we go. There we go. Lorraine is saying that she wasn't a fan of the MDR. G'day, Nick. Hey, Sean, tested positive Monday night. What? Luckily, it's all very mild. I think I've broken the fever, and now it's just working out all of this congestion. I have to be off work until Sunday. Nick, who are you kissing? We wish you well, mate. Hopefully you get over it without any lingering effects like my bloody cough. But yeah, everybody's wishing you well, my friend. Hopefully you get over it real quick. Yes, so like I was saying, that dreaded lurgy is a dreaded lurgy. I mean, you either get it and you get mild symptoms, or you get it and you get bigger symptoms. And at the end of the day, we just treat it like, I mean, people get the flu. They get bad flu and they get negative flu, so a good flu. So, you know, it's the same. I think governments have gone way over the top. Tony is saying that he went on the Radiance this year and survived on steakhouse pizza, Guy's burgers, Shaq's. Rest of food was pretty much yes, shaving cream. I didn't know that the Radiance had a shack on it. Um, I thought it was only the Mardi Gras because it was the new ship and there were just a couple of others. Um, Nick is just glad he still has 40 days until his flight leaves for Europe. Plenty of time to get better, and hopefully it helps build up more immunity during his nearly 2 months overseas. Nick, there was some COVID on board our ship. There were a couple of people that when they left the ship, they ended up with COVID. Michael Ann was one of them. Blaine was another one. A couple of others. And truth of the matter is, the 2 weeks before we went on our cruise, before we left Melbourne Airport, we had our 4th jab. So the only thing I can say is that probably took care of us. And what can I say? There's COVID everywhere. So at the end of the day, you fare well or you don't. And most people are faring quite okay. Michael Ann is saying that she still has a little annoying cough a few times during the day. Hope it stays that way, just a few, I mean. Troy, he's not looking forward to the ship barbecue. Grew up in Memphis, Tennessee area. Am a barbecue snob. Hey, you know what? That means I've got to try one of your barbecues, mate. Because I would definitely go for that. In fact, in South Africa, we call it a braai. It's and meat's slightly different and so forth. Radiance was refitted in 2019. It has a shacks, which is great, but it's really just lipstick on a pig. Oh, really? Oh, that's cool. I like that. Michael Ann, I didn't mind the MDR. There was some items that were less than desirable, but our servers were amazing. Look, there's no doubt the servers were amazing. The servers did their utmost to get things happening, but you know what? The kitchen did let a lot of people down, and food is not a priority. I don't think. Troy is saying Memphis is the home to the World Championship barbecue competition. Well, maybe next time we're over there, we need to make sure that we get to Memphis, Tennessee, so that we can have a look at this competition and try some of the food. Now, Josh is attempting to have a talk off. That talk off is me speaking with a southern accent and him talking with an Aussie accent. So that'll be rather interesting. Michael Ann is saying that she preferred the guy's burgers with caramelized onions and some of his brown sugar bourbon sauce. To be honest with you, Michael Ann, Ilana and I tried the guy's burger, and to us, guy's burger is, sorry to say, just a burger. We don't see the hype in it. But having said that, every cruise line puts on a burger, and there'll be competition. So, at any rate, we had fun anyway. We had a burger competition, and Glenna the dog beat Larry. Larry took 47 seconds to demolish a guy's burger. Glenna devoured it in 11 seconds. So that was amazing. Lorraine gives Guy's Burgers a 2 out of 10. I'd probably agree with that. I mean, Ilana and I said, Guy's Burgers, McDonald's, what's the difference? Okay, you burger aficionados. I can understand that you guys are busy having conniptions about what I just said. But let me say, it's edible. And it is what it is. Michael Ann is saying there was nothing special but edible. The sauce was good though. I want to know. We didn't actually get to try the pizza. I want to know what the pizza was like. Because a few of you would queue up at like 1 o'clock in the morning for pizza, as if it was your last meal. Well, it probably was your last meal until breakfast. Um, oh boy, that ship. We had fun. Kenny dancing. I can still see him dancing with the lights and 80s night, and it was awesome. Um, yeah, and I know that James and Cindy are going to have just as much fun on the Carnival Pride because I know that Matt and Kimbra will give him the best time ever. So there we go. Lorraine is saying the pizza was decent. Chicken tacos were great. Um, yeah, Ilana didn't like the tacos, to be honest, or the burritos. Michael Ann is saying she didn't get the pizza either. Um, Tony is saying, will you be trying Mardi Gras celebration or Jubilee in the next few years? We certainly will. Look, our plan is at some point we do need to get back to the US, spend some time with my cousins as well, but also get onto one of the bigger ships as well. It all depends on the bank balance and how we can get it sorted. But we will be certainly looking forward to spending more time in the US. We had a ball meeting up with everybody. It was awesome. Met fantastic people like Michael Ann, like Lorraine, like Troy. I mean, seeing Troy's face when he won the Papa Mozo Award was priceless. So, and it's a really deserving award. So, um, it was priceless. Um, watching Kenny just look at the ship was incredible. Meeting up with everybody like Mike Donovan and Donovan Rush and Jody and his lovely wife, spending time with John and Nancy from J&N Travels. You look at some of the people that I would class as celebrities, and we're having dinner with them. I mean, that was awesome. It was. I mean, call me V. If you didn't get your cheeks out the way, they'd get pinched. Um, and Rafael Viso from Viso's Travel. I mean, it was a real pleasure to meet up with these people. Magnificent Darian with Germany. Do you know how hard I have to think about saying that one? But spending time with Darian, spending time everybody. Look, if I haven't mentioned your name, I'm sorry. But everybody who came with us on board the cruise, even at the meetup, it was a real privilege meeting you all. And I know that James is going to have the same thing when he goes on his group cruise, meeting up with everybody. I mean, bloody hell, I miss out. So, at any rate, yep, it's great. Michael Ann is saying it was an honor to meet you and Ilana as well. Oh, come on, we're just two humble people. We had a ball with all of you. Troy is saying, if you know the songs Margaritaville and Cheeseburger in Paradise by Jimmy Buffett, I've been to Jimmy Buffett's Margaritaville bar in Key West, and the burger was, it was a burger. It was the atmosphere, and yes, that does make it a huge statement. You know, it is the atmosphere. Tony, Miss Australia would be great to catch up with you, mate. You know what? There's always room, and a privilege too. And Troy, I enjoyed meeting you all. Likewise, mate. Likewise. I'll tell you what. There was a bit of a sadness, but at the same time, it worked out to be a positive, and that was Papa Mozo, Alan Ellsworth, was due to be on the cruise with us. Um, he unfortunately passed away 3 months before the cruise. We were fortunate enough to have Mummy Mozo, Shelley, on board the cruise with us, and she was the person who was handing out the awards to all the people that were the recipients of those awards, and it was surreal because there she was, and she understood the privilege of being able to give out those awards. It was as if Papa Mozo was doing it. So there we go. Folks, we're up at the top of the hour. Want to thank you so much for coming aboard. Yes, Lorraine, Shelley was amazing. We want to thank you for coming up on board. As I said, this Saturday will be a fundraiser for young Mr. Kenny and Papa. So it's called Kenny's Kingsport Project. Kenny's Kingsport Project. Yep. So that's going to be absolutely amazing. And next week, we'll be on again on Wednesday, Sparrow Fight for those of you across the pond, 8 p.m. for those of across our side of the pond. And then next week, Saturday, we will have some special guests on board, Mum and Dad. So at any rate, folks, you have a brilliant week that's left of it, and an awesome weekend when it arrives. Tony's hashtag mimosa. Absolutely. So, folks, have a good weekend, and we shall catch up with you next time. Have a great day, and happy travels.